This is your active weather coverage from coast to coast, beginning with the very poor air quality spanning nationwide. From northern BC all the way in through Labrador, we've got air quality warnings, special air quality statements littered across the entire country. It's all due to the wildfire smoke that's continuing to drift eastwards. So the air quality is going to improve for the west, but deteriorate for the east. We're still sitting at a 10 for regions like Flin Flon, 7 for Winnipeg, most of Ontario sitting at a 7, and then Lab City at a 6 as the smoke continues to stream northward in through Labrador. Beneficial rain might be on the way. Hopefully this stays the same throughout the weekend, but hot spots north of Prince Albert, the Paw up towards Thompson could be seeing some rain that they've been waiting for quite some time. We do have a storm risk going on for southern Manitoba on Saturday. A squall line will pass through with a cold front. Severe possible with Winnipeg in the bullseye there for strong wind gusts and heavy downpours. So let's play it through. There's the culprit there, initiating storms all the way across through Saturday evening and continuing throughout the overnight. So this could turn nocturnal and eventually make its way in through northwestern Ontario. But the good news is that cold front is going to slice through the smoke in the air, hopefully alleviating much of it for Western Canada. Where it's not getting alleviated is across Ontario and Quebec. We're seeing poor air quality continue for our Friday and in through Saturday. I don't see it easing up in the next couple days. We don't have a whole lot of precipitation though. Most of it is stateside, that low pressure system just scooting to the south there. That's going to be the primary threat of some storms. Montreal, you could get into a little bit of some storms. Eastern townships eventually in through Atlantic Canada has the greatest threat for some non-severe storms Saturday evening. And I'll show you that here. As those storms approach there, we're going to see, there it is. They will deteriorate as they head eastward with this warm front, so the severity will decrease as we hit the ocean waters, but don't be surprised if you see a thunderstorm rolling through the Fredericton area. But in general, we will be seeing some pretty heavy rainfall continuing for the Maritimes and eventually in through Newfoundland. So heavy downpours for the Maritimes. Saturday, there's the big one, bringing up some Gulf moisture, actually. This is straight from the south and then eventually in through Newfoundland on Sunday. Here's how much rain we could see. 30 to 40 in the Fredericton area, 20 to 30 north of Halifax. 5 to 10 for the Avalon, and Port aux Basques, Corner Brook getting into that 30 to 40. BC about to have a underway. Now here's a quick satellite snapshot. Notice the smoke coming all the way from Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and starting to affect places all the way up like Labrador. We've got warnings littered from northern BC all the way to Labrador, nationwide alerts for air quality warnings and special air quality statements as the air quality continues to deteriorate. Now, here is a look at the current air quality index as we go through Friday, and these are the hotspots that we are currently watching. Flin Flon over towards places like Timber Bay are the strongest blazes underway, but hopefully some good news on the way this weekend as we could be seeing some beneficial rainfall to regions like north of Prince Albert, north of the Paw, south of Thompson. Hopefully this doesn't change, the forecast doesn't change, but it's looking like we could be seeing some beneficial rain. In other news, southern Manitoba does have a severe possible thunderstorm forecast for a squall line associated with a cold front that's going to slice through the region, bringing some strong wind gusts and heavy downpours. There's the culprit there. It is going to happen early Saturday morning initially, continuing all the way through the afternoon, evening, and actually in through the overnight as it makes its way in through northwestern Ontario, potentially becoming a little bit of a nocturnal squall line. Good news with this cold front is it's also going to slice through the smoke across southern prairie provinces. In other news, we've got Game 2 in Edmonton today. Game 1 was a success. Let's hope for round 2 today before they head off to the beautiful state of Florida. Canadian Open is also underway this weekend. Bit of a rainy start on Thursday, looking like it's going to be a beautiful weekend to play some golf in Caledon. So if you're headed out, enjoy. Now here's those warnings for Ontario and Quebec. Southern Ontario, most of southern and central Quebec under the special air quality statement for some pretty poor air quality. Take a look at this all the way along the 401 corridor from Windsor all the way up to places like Quebec City, sitting in moderate to pretty dangerous air quality for Friday and through Saturday. This is going to continue to linger. Really not going to see a whole lot of breaks in the smoke in the hazy skies until the end of the weekend. It's looking like Friday, Saturday are going to continue to be pretty poor. But we also are not really seeing a whole lot of precipitation in the way of clearing the air. Maybe a chance of some storms for the eastern townships, Quebec, rather Montreal, potentially getting into a couple rounds of storms on a Saturday afternoon, but that will make its way in through eastern Quebec and Atlantic Canada eventually. Speaking of which, there is the first cold front that's going to bring up these storms, deteriorating in strength as they hit those cold ocean waters. Take a look at this one, bringing widespread rain, chance of some stronger storms in the Fredericton area, potentially up towards Miramichi and even up towards Grand Falls. But in general, note, we are going to see the rain be pretty persistent and widespread. Of course, it wouldn't be Atlantic Canada without a rainy weekend. Pretty widespread rain Saturday throughout the overnight for the Maritimes, eventually making its way in through Newfoundland, bringing some pretty heavy pockets of rain, specifically for the southwestern coasts. Port aux Basques, up towards Corner Brook, getting into that 30 to 40, 20 to 30 for Burgeo shorelines, 30 to 40 for the Fredericton area, 5 to 10 for northern New Brunswick, 20 to 30 for Charlottetown, as well as surrounding areas around Halifax. Halifax, you could expect around that 15 to 25. Now headed over to the other coast, where we are headed into a bit of a heat wave for BC as a big ridge builds in. 37 degrees in Oceus on Tuesday, but note that is a dry heat. There won't be a humidity associated with that, but that is well above seasonal for this time of year. 15 degrees above seasonal to be exact, but we'll be a little bit cooler before we get to that.